In 2023, the global Webtoon market was valued at approximately $750 million US. And analysts at Grandview Research Project, it will surpass $2.3 billion by 2030. That is a single format invented in one country in under 25 years. The format is the vertical scroll digital comic. Born in South Korea around 2003, it did not emerge from a major media conglomerate or a Silicon Valley lab. It came from a portal website and a generation of Korean readers who had given up on print. The question worth asking is simple. How does a small format experiment on a Korean internet portal become the dominant template for comics on 6 continents? Start with the platform itself. Naver Webtoon, the service that popularized the format, reported over 180 million monthly active users across its global platforms as of 2023, according to the company's own investor disclosures. South Korea accounts for a meaningful share, but the majority of that audience now sits outside Korea, in the United States, Southeast Asia, France, and Indonesia. The Korea Creative Content Agency, known as KOCCA, estimated that Korean Webtoon exports generated approximately 860 billion Korean won in revenue in 2022, roughly $650 million US. A single top-tier series on Naver or KOCCA can attract several 100,000 paying readers per episode, and the intellectual property pipeline is significant. KOCCA data shows that more than 70 Webtoon titles had been adapted into television dramas or films by 2022. The format is no longer just comics, it is a content development engine. The origin is inseparable from Korea's internet infrastructure. By the early 2000s, South Korea had the highest broadband penetration rate in the world, according to the OECD. Screens were fast enough to load image-heavy pages that would have stalled connections elsewhere. At the same time, the domestic print comic market, called Manhwa, was collapsing under competition from Japanese manga and the aftermath of the 1997 financial crisis, which gutted discretionary spending. Korean portal giant Naver responded by creating a free-to-read comics section in 2004. Crucially, the format was redesigned for the phone and desktop scroll rather than the page turn. Panels ran top to bottom in a single continuous strip. Color was standard, not a luxury, and publication was weekly, training readers to return on a schedule, the way television audiences follow episodes. The model was not subscription first. It was free access built on advertising and later on a pay-per-episode system called coin unlocking. That freemium logic, now common across streaming and gaming, was embedded in Korean Webtoons before most Western platforms had adopted it. The industry's scale comes with a hidden weight. Korean Webtoon creators, called Webtoonists, have spoken publicly, including in reporting by the Korea Herald and the Korea Manhwa Contents Agency, about production schedules that routinely run 16 to 18 hours a day. The weekly deadline is structurally brutal. A single episode requires not just writing and drawing, but coloring, lettering, and background rendering, much of which used to be done by the creator alone. Repetitive strain injuries of the hand and wrist are widely reported within the community. A 2020 survey cited by Korean media found a significant proportion of working Webtoonists reporting musculoskeletal pain. Earnings are also more unequal than the platform traffic suggests. A small tier of top creators earns handsomely from coin revenue and IP licensing, while many mid-level creators earn less than Korea's median wage despite full-time hours. The platforms have faced criticism for contracts that assign broad intellectual property rights to the company. The result is an industry that looks like a creative revolution from the outside and feels for many inside it like a content factory with a very human cost. The Webtoon story is not really about comics. It is about what happens when a format is rebuilt from scratch around a new medium, rather than adapted reluctantly from an old one. Japan's manga industry spent decades defending the print page. American comics publishing doubled down on the comic shop. Korea, partly by circumstance and partly by design, built for the phone before the phone was dominant everywhere else. The broader pattern is familiar in Korean industrial history. Move fast in infrastructure, standardize ruthlessly, then export the standard. It happened with semiconductors, with shipbuilding, with K-pop. Now it is happening with storytelling formats. The platforms that American and European publishers are building today, vertical scroll, freemium unlock, weekly episodic release, are architecturally Korean. The lesson for any creative industry watching is straightforward. The country that designs the container often ends up owning a share of everything poured into it.